Thank you, Virgil. As for you, Kurgan.
I can no longer tolerate the atrocities that this life has brought about. There will be peace. There will be quiet. Life will no longer be. And so I go to Arcanum to be an end to it. And then I will join the souls of the dead when it is done.
I have a few questions before we continue.
Of course.
Tell me how you came to be here.
I was the first of the necromancers, and the Elven Council was displeased with my studies into the darker side of that discipline. After an inquiry into my activities, the Council was going to exile me, but Aronax, in his hatred of me, convinced them banishment was more appropriate for my so-called crimes. They banished me soon afterward.
Okay.
What?
I thought he wasn't gonna say anything. So, tell me about what happened with Aronax.
Aronax was banished here only a few years after I was. After seeing how powerful I'd become, he raised a ragged army against me. But his efforts were useless. I destroyed his army and threw him in chains. A fitting end for him, and a reward for his endless arrogance. Of course.
Tell me of the Dark Elves and the Black Mountain Clan.
The Dark Elves began calling across the void soon after Aronax had been banished. By the time their feeble cries were heard, their master was already defeated and imprisoned. Pretending I was he, I masterminded the manipulation of the Panari, coerced the Dark Elves into betraying the trusts of Logair and the Wheel Clan, and had the Black Mountain Clan sent to me.
What has the Black Mountain Clan been doing?
The Black Mountain Clan was brought here because of the nature of technology and magic. The wards which bind the gate back to Arcanum are weakening because of the rise of technology. I've brought the dwarves here to construct a device to shatter the wards once and for all. Of course.
What is it you really want, Kurgan? Apparently I can ask this. After all of this, what is it you really want? He just said it, but let's see what happens.
I want the end to all life. I've divined the mysteries of death and seen its truth. Death is the natural state of things, and life is a distortion of the natural order. I will put an end to it once and for all. Of course.
What is it you want to do, Kurgan?
I can no longer tolerate the atrocities that this
yeah. I've heard all of that. So, perhaps I could persuade you otherwise. You may be, I don't know, wrong.
Am I? It all depends on your point of view. Take yourself, for example. You've been told from the beginning of your adventure that you're the second coming of Nazrudin, the return of the living one. Do you believe it?
Can I really deconstruct that? Because what does it mean to be? Just go for that. Like that. And what does I constitute here? Because if the I is detached from my own identity, then yes, I am the living one. My identity is not the living one, but I can adopt the identity of the living one. You see how that goes? Of course, you can deconstruct it even further, but that's... I don't know. I don't think so. Do you believe it is... This is not a matter of belief. It is a matter of fact, and he also makes it sound that as if his own attitude is not a matter of fact, it's a matter of opinion, because it depends on your point of view. No, it doesn't. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure all that you've said is a matter of fact. That death is the natural state of affairs, or a state of being, or whatever. We could argue and find out if it's true or not, but it's not going to be a thing, well, I suppose it's a matter of opinion. It's just, it's up to you to decide. Because that's very much what he's saying, and it's not, I don't think. I think it's all a bunch of drivel. Okay, but that's not necessarily how you argue with a person like this. this is a leading question. Specifically because I said, you may be wrong, and he answers with am I, which is, may I is the correct answer, but whatever, that might be because the line of dialogue that I chose might have not been the same when his line was written. Take yourself for an example. You may be wrong. You've been told from the beginning of your adventure that you're the second coming of Nasruddin. Do you believe it? Is he gonna argue? What is he gonna argue with that? This is definitely a leading question, but I don't know. I don't see his... Let's see. No, I think it's all a bunch of drivel, of course, and I plan on fulfilling it. It's not really important either way, you're going to die. I'm not one to discount anything, but I'd be inclined to say no. Perhaps it's best that I be going. See you later. Let's go with the first one. I don't know what he's gonna say.
As well you should. There are no prophecies. It's just the nature of living things to want to conform their existence to a foreseeable pattern, to attempt to exert control over the chaos that surrounds them. Life by its very nature disallows this. Life is an accident, the result of random chance. Therefore, its nature can be no different.
Ooh, you're so wrong on so many accounts there. I've touched on some of them. That's interesting. Many of, like, for one, there are no prophecies. Well, there are. What you should be saying is prophecies are all a bunch of nonsense or something like that. I don't know how you'd put that in a very clinical and detached way, because there are prophecies. It just doesn't mean that they're gonna come to fruition. It's... right? It's not, you know what I mean? Anyway, I know what he means, so I guess I can look past that. It's just that nature of living things wants to conform their existence to a foreseeable pattern. That's wrong. For one, that's a very much human nature to see patterns in nature. That's how we think, that's how we learn, that's how we see the world. Patterns, patterns, patterns everywhere. You have a lot of difficulty making AI see patterns because AI... well, it's a much less complex thing than we are. Whenever there's science fiction writers that say, "Oh, AI is so much more intelligent than human beings," like first off, what is intelligence? And then secondly, they're a lot less complex. They are always a lot less complex because we are just sort of a byproduct of the very complex brain. And yes, animals do see patterns as well. There's plenty of proof to see that that they work much like we do in regards to foreseeable patterns in particular, and that's how they learn as well. But it doesn't mean that life is like that, specifically because life as a notion... actually, I'm coming to a conclusion that he might be right. But life as a notion, as a real notion, it can't forget about, you know, bacteria, and you can forget about plants and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's when you just go with that, it doesn't fit, does it? You might be talking about something else, but it's not life that you're talking about. And besides, it's perfectly possible to have animals that don't see the world in patterns. I say it's possible, it's conceivable anyway. To make it happen, it might require some sort of extraterrestrial knowledge of something like that, or I don't know, because we just know the life that we know. But if you consider AI and androids to be alive, which is a matter that you can debate, but if you do, and if they are programmed not to see patterns, which would probably be hard for them to coexist with us if that's the case, but it's perfectly possible to program an android not to see patterns, then they would be alive and not see foreseeable patterns in the future. So how about that? But more importantly here, what he's talking about is specifically life with souls. So that whole argument of mine kind of gets deconstructed, and it doesn't really matter that plants and bacteria don't see foreseeable patterns. The souls do. But at the same time, that kind of raises another question. If souls are the problem, then does he really want to kill the souls rather than the life itself? Or, no, actually, I guess this is really screwed up, and I can't really... it's hard to engage with this because it's all fiction. But he might also be speaking of life as a state of the soul rather than an entity in and of itself. And then when he says that living things, what he really means is souls, when they're alive, want to conform their existence to foreseeable patterns, which would imply that him knowing that what souls in the mirrored whatever glass planes are, how they work there, that souls don't really work like that when they are not alive. Life, by its very nature, disallows this. Wait a minute. To attempt to exert control over the chaos that surrounds them. How does life disallow this? Life is an accident, the result of random chance. Therefore, its nature can be no different. No different. I think he might be just throwing words at me, trying to see if they stick. I don't fully understand what he's trying to say. I think what he means is a life disallows a foreseeable pattern. But that's just obviously wrong. You give birth to babies. That's a foreseeable pattern. What are you talking about? How can it... And then there's another non sequitur right there, or there's a non sequitur, which is that life is an accident, therefore it cannot... It must always be random, and that's just not the case. You can have an accident as an accident, something... Imagine, like, I don't know, imagine a car that's going on a road, and it has an accident. Sort of an unforeseen crash, right? Would... The crash doesn't keep happening after the crash happens, right? That's my logic. That's how I'm seeing it. The beginning of life might have been an accident. Life itself is not. It's a foreseeable pattern. That's why you even call it life. Otherwise, if it wasn't foreseeable, and if it wasn't a pattern, you wouldn't have a name for it, because you wouldn't even be able to identify it. You know what I mean? Because this is actually important to understand all the words that we use. But if you can't distinguish a pattern in any way, you cannot give it a name, because you don't know of its existence. Existence itself is a pattern. So even you could even deconstruct that like that. Imagine the world, and we call it a planet. And even the word planet, it's a pattern that we see, that we identify, and we say, oh, this is a pattern. But imagine the world, it's a pattern, right? Because we say, oh, it's the stuff that's beneath us. That's the world. Like all this earth and all that, that's the planet that we're in, right? That's a pattern. If we couldn't identify that, if for some reason we saw all of space the same way that we see the ground beneath us, we wouldn't be able to identify Earth and as an entity. So we wouldn't call it Earth because we wouldn't know what to call. We wouldn't know it as a thing. And Earth itself is only a thing in our minds anyway, because we could call it two things, it could be three things, or five things, or no thing, it could be a part of a greater one. Identity is always a construct in that regard, because it's what we call something. Not necessarily that we must have a name for things, but we must at least identify it as a thing. So, like, that's what I mean. Life itself is a pattern. It wouldn't have a name otherwise. It wouldn't be possible. And, like, random chance is a pattern. The concept of random chance. You know? Otherwise, like, you can say, this is not random chance. This is random chance. Because there is a pattern that must be followed. Even though, I know it sounds weird that random chance is a pattern. But you know what maybe you don't know what I mean. Feel free to discuss in the comments anyway. But this is a very interesting thing. But he's just full of it, really. Just kind of good and kind of bad. Kind of good, really good actually, because it talks about so many things and it's really cool. But bad because it's not philosophical, unfortunately. It's very much grounded on the existence of souls and on the distinction of life that has a soul from the life that doesn't. And and as such becomes not philosophy. I mean, it is a thought experiment, but it's not philosophy, unfortunately. It becomes less of a matter of finding a lack of logic than a matter of finding plot holes. Not plot holes, but I guess holes in his logic. What does this have to do with audience sanity, I ask? That's your opinion. Can you support it? No. That's not how opinions work. That's not... You don't support an opinion. I guess you do support an opinion, but that's your... Theory would be you would ask for support. If it's an opinion, it's like, oh, this movie is really good. Oh, that's your opinion, dude. Can you support it? Yes, I can. But you're not gonna. Oh, I can prove that your opinion is wrong. No, you're not gonna say that because it's an opinion. And I think he's very confused about what opinion is and what fact is. But what he's saying here is an argument. So I guess you could make it a theory. Even though, I mean, it is a theory. He's presenting an argument, starting with the basic fundamental facts that he says life is an accident, and we can, if we want to discuss that thing, then we can, but we can just say, okay, life is an accident. Your conclusions are just wrong. So yeah, it's just not, it's weird for me to pick either of these, to be honest. Let's go with that one. It's not his opinion. I hope he says, no, it's not an opinion. It's fact. Even though might be wrong, but it's still a matter of fact anyway.
There are those who would look at all that has happened to you, and then look at you, and call you a madman for not believing in the prophecy. Your opinion is based on what you have seen, what you know. My perceptions on the nature of life and death are no different.
Aha, but that's what we're discussing here. We're not discussing what I've seen or your perception or your... I'm not discussing that. I'm not saying, no, souls aren't at peace when they die. Or, no, they don't feel pain. I'm not saying that. I'm saying your conclusions are wrong. That's the thing. Let's see what we can do with that. Perhaps my opinion doesn't threaten the wall of creation. Okay, that's fair. Very much fair. I can see the validity of your position. Then I just don't know what to tell you. I'd have to say you're correct. No, let's go with that one. I guess we have a very specific way of convincing him of stopping.
That only bothers you because you see your creation as the natural order of things. I've told you it's only the effect of a meddler, the incoherent scribblings of a child. It's not meant to be.
He mentions this again, though. A meddler. And another thing, it's not meant to be. That doesn't mean it's not. It very much is. Even if you kill it, it still is. In the past, but it still is. Because time is a thing that you should know about. Yes, but he doesn't. He's confused about time. Oh, unfortunately, I don't think I can...
Of course.
Huh. I said I thought your opinion was dangerous.
That only bothers you because you see your...
Well, I think I might need to tell him that he's correct. I suppose it's possible you're correct. Let's see where that goes. Hopefully that doesn't end the game. But if he does, it does. I hope it doesn't. I hope I don't just get locked into another dialogue tree or something.
And why not? I realize that you follow the way of the righteous, or at least that's the role you've decided to play. But you've yet to see the other side. Follow me, and I'll show you things you've never imagined.
And I think that is an end if I say the first one. Follow him is an ending, I think. But yeah, I'll not turn back now. You're going to die, Kurgan. I'm sorry. It's just, you are an idiot because you think I follow the way of the righteous. You have not seen what I have done, my friend, or enemy. You're going to die.
Very well. I shall send you to that great dead sea, and then you shall know.
Shall I? Oh, I might, actually. I think a lot of people are gonna die now. This is bad. Can I crit you? Critical success. Critical failure on next opponent attack. Let's go with that. Oh, I can't shoot. Oh, who dropped their armor? What weirdness is this? That's really weird. Yeah, I can't shoot. Oh, maybe from here. Nope. Okay. He's summoning things. I died. That wasn't even an ending. That wasn't even an ending. Okay, let's do this again. Can you please? Seriously, what's going on? That's good. Did they hit me? I think they might have.
Greeting. I would think not. Although the presence of Aranax tells me you already know much of my tale. At least as much as he deemed necessary.
Let's see. So I'm gonna go back through all of that he said. And then go through that. And he goes to the cutscene. I'm gonna press escape. There it is. Then Virgil says things. And then... let's go with that. And then you're going to die. So... because I'm in real time.
Dead Sea, and then you shall know.
Okay. 91%. Can I see what I'm doing here, please? Can you do things, Aranax? Can you kill it? Okay. Let's see what happens. I think he summoned someone beneath me. I don't think he's gonna do any AoE attacks that hit me. That Lord Slave. You're dead. Okay, he's doing some damage. It's not that great, actually. Our friend, I think we got this. All I need to do is just make sure that he doesn't summon anything beneath me. He's pretty big, isn't he? Looks like a fern plant. That's what he is, a big fern plant. Where did Aranax go? Aranax, you're a terrible... What? Why? Oh, sure. I don't know what happened to the armor that was on the floor, by the way. Before. How did I miss that? Hiccups. Okay. No Lord Slave. This is going really well. I'm gonna need to save like halfway through. I think... can I save halfway through the command? I don't think so. Okay, let's look. I can. What? Yeah. Apparently I can. Good. That'll make them think. No, they won't. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. How did I not die? He's friendly. Easy? Okay, you guys deal with that. Full heal now. What? Okay. Aranax.
What may I do for you?
Can I ask some questions?
What is it that you wish of me, then?
Nothing. He's healing. I can't rest here, of course. And I can't talk to him. Vendigoth device. Oh. Oh!
The defeat of Lucan and his henchmen, coupled with your freeing of the ghost of Bessie Toon, enabled Shrouded Hills to grow and become a thriving community once again. A new silver vein is discovered in the old Bessie Toon mine. Workers pour into town by the dozens, and within a few years, Shrouded Hills is a bustling boomtown.
Nice.
Such towns often have problems keeping the peace. Shrouded Hills has no such trouble, mainly due to the efforts of their new sheriff, Doc Roberts.
Best ending there.
Because of the death of its leader, Pollock's gang soon found itself overrun by Clan Nog and quickly vanished. Without an opponent to challenge him, Darian Nog set his sights beyond the Boil, and it wasn't long before all of Tarrant was shadowy and crime-ridden.
That's kind of a problem there, I suppose.
Maximilian was returned to Dernholm, and all of Cumbria rejoiced in the return of their rightful king. Under the new rule of Maximilian, Cumbria quickly grew into a powerful nation, embracing both magic and technology. And once again, the proud banner of the Dragon Knights flew from the ramparts of Dernholm Castle, set there by their new captain, Liana Peldar.
So Maximilian made it back. Huh.
Loghaire Thunderstone never returned to his people, and a distraught and confused Ranver assumed leadership over the Wheel clan. Without the strong king, the Dwarven clan splintered, and a bloody war followed.
He was
In
strong.
time, Ranver gathered enough followers to put an end to the conflict, but the dwarves were never the same again, secluding themselves forever from the outside world.
It's the same as always. Fine.
The Bedokan continued to live in the dark fens, fighting here and there with loggers and poachers, but mainly keeping to themselves. They continued to live the primitive lives of nomad hunters, and they never spoke with the elves of Kintara again. Upon returning to Arcanum, Aranax buried his father on the Isle of Thanatos.
He died.
Later he traveled to the Vendigroth Wastes, and there used his powers and single-handedly raised the city from the ruins it had become.
Not the people, though.
Vendigroth again became a place of awe and wonder.
Oh, but the people died, you jerk.
Yet, after all of this, Arcanum is still what it always was. A place of possibility. A place of change. One thing is certain, and that is that nothing at all is ever certain in this place. Who's to say what the future holds for the land we call Arcanum?
Arcanum 2, that's what it holds, but it was never put into production. I don't think they even had an idea of what the storyline was going to be. It's quite a lot of stuff there that we could touch on, specifically regarding the main quest. It could become such a completely different game or something in the future. I say future, but you know what I mean, sort of futuristic, I guess. But yeah, the vendor got the device and we killed that, and I think that's why I remember the ending being quite sudden, because it's just a shortcut scene, and it just right there, it's an ending there. There's other endings, of course, as I said, but if you want to look them up, there's wikis about the game, and you can look at them in there, or you can play the game for yourself and try a different ending. I'm pretty sure you can make like choices throughout the game that unlock different endings. I remember seeing something like that regarding the elves and stuff like that. But you have, I think, 3 options at the end. You have the Vendigroth advice. You can join him, and I think there's something to do with Aranax, but I'm not really sure what we did that we didn't unlock the Aranax one. But that's gonna be that. No, wait a minute. That's not gonna be that for this Let's Play. I promised you that I was gonna have an episode with the Gods quest line. It might be a short one though, because I'm not gonna do all the walking on camera. So yeah, I'm gonna take care of that. But yeah, that's gonna be that for this episode. So for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Arcanum. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the last episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the support. and for enjoying this game with me. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.